Perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
So good to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. We got Rich Jesse running the controls today. Jeff Burson is on social media. Ryan Penny screening your calls. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani. And Debbie and I are both kind of crackling again in our voice today.
I'm telling you, it's got to be something in the air in California and Arizona. Something's not right. I don't know. You.
Yeah, it gets better for me as the day goes along. I thought I was over this, but yesterday, all throughout the area where I live, it looked like almost fog. You know, so much stuff was just being whipped up into the air. So
same here.
I'm sure that was it, but that's not why we're here.
No, it's not. We have a topic today, but Jerry, I wanted just to share real quickly, if I may. I just received a call right before the show from Peggy, who runs the welcoming, I'm assuming the welcoming or the orientation of Our Lady of Good Help outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And Jackie and I are going to make the pilgrimage
fantastic.
on Mother's Day weekend. We are going to go, and I just wanted to let the Take Two family know I'm taking all of your intentions. I'm taking the prayer book and everything to the apparition site. So I'm very excited about going. Peggy was so nice. In fact, she's going to look up our show online. And so it was really sweet. So yeah, Mother's Day weekend, that's where I'll be spending it with Our Lady.
Oh, great. Hey, I made an assumption that it was Ryan on the phones today. Gentlemen, when you call, you get to speak to Michael McCall. And I want to give that number out because yesterday we had a show where we invited women to call in and share how they feel they fit in with the church, how they feel how do they thrive? You know, how does being Catholic fulfill them? And we want to hear from the men. How do you feel about that today? 833-288-EWTN. 833-288-3986.
And women, you can call in and talk about your men. You can do that as well. So the number to dial again is 1-833-288-3986. Please call in quickly, though. We don't like to leave you on the line when the clock runs out. That is one of the things that just bothers us deeply. So we'd love for you to call in early. Also, too, maybe share about the ministry work you're doing, men, the Knights of Columbus, anything that's involved in and around the church. Okay, we want to hear about that because listen up closely. This is important. There are young folks listening to this show right now, and you can inspire them. You can get them encouraged and motivated to call up their local parish and say, Father, sign me up. Okay, so please call in now and share your ministry work that you're doing and how you feel alive in the church. 833-288-3986.
Yeah, and you can also send a text. Text the letters EWTN to 55000 and put in your information there. There may be a small data rate. And those of you viewing the show on YouTube and Facebook, you can post your comments there. You can email them to take2@EWTN.com and post on the take2show.com website. But guys, come on, let's make this a powerful show today. And like Debbie said, if you're in some kind of a ministry, fantastic. Call and share how that really helps empower you, fulfill you as a Catholic. But if you're not in ministry, that's okay. How does being Catholic, going to Mass, receiving the sacrament of reconciliation, if you pray the rosary, if you spend time in adoration, if you're part of a men's group, listen, we could have full phone lines from Fort Wayne and South Bend today, you guys, because you guys are awesome. You rekindle the fire, guys. So I want to hear from one of you. 833-288-3986.
Jerry, you and I, you saw the movie in California. Marty and I and my friend Debbie saw the movie here in Arizona, Unplanned, yesterday. And look how many men were at the fence, Jerry, praying. How many men went, took part in the 40 Days for Life, and how many men were there, really caring for the unborn in their prayers, and it's a beautiful thing. And so, men, you have a role, obviously, and we want to hear, how you feel about the church. Are you involved in the church? Maybe you're kind of, sitting on the sidelines, waiting to see when you can jump in. Let's talk about it, because that's what Take Two is all about. We want to leave this hour a little bit changed. We want to know ourselves better, maybe be a little bit closer to God. So don't sit this out, folks. We need to hear from you. 1-833-288-EWTN.
Yeah, and talk about, gentlemen, how maybe you own a business. How does being Catholic show itself in the way you treat your employees, or maybe you're an employee of a business. How does just going to work during the day and putting in an honest day's work, being honest but being diligent, how does being Catholic help you as a husband, as a father, with your kids and so forth? So we want to hear from you on this. And just a note on the Unplanned movie. Anyone, if you haven't seen it, please go see it. And gentlemen, brothers in Christ, I want to encourage you.
Go see it.
Debbie warned me that I would cry, and you know what? I thought, women cry a lot easier than men. But there were several places in the movie. In fact, there was one place where I was so choked up. The lady sitting next to me on my left, I think she was getting concerned. But it's
I saw
really,
that too.
yeah.
My husband was choked up big time.
Yeah, if you're not moved by what you see, my goodness, wow, it's just a powerful movie. So go see it, guys, please.
Yes, please do, and take your friends as well. Okay, since I made the comment about that, I'm going to be making that pilgrimage on Mother's Day weekend with my friend Jackie and taking the whole Take Two family in your prayer intentions. Please know that I am. We're already starting to get calls. Like Cecilia called in and asked for prayers for her family. Cecilia, I put your family in our prayer book, and please know that the beginning of May we do our prayer show, and that's when I would encourage everybody to call in or send us their prayer intentions, because that'll be the latest edition of the book that I will take with me to Our Lady of Good Help right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin. So,
okay. Here is the phone number again, 833-288-3986. I'm looking at the call screening board here. Michael McCall doing a great job. We have maybe two phone lines that are still open. Those are gonna be occupied in just a few seconds. So if you want to get on there and make sure you get on the show, especially early, please dial 833-288-3986. And Debbie, yesterday the ladies just did a fantastic job. We had some deep calls, some very moving calls about what being Catholic means to them and how it really enables them to be truly who they are and empowers them. And today, I think this is going to be equally impactful.
Oh, yeah. The guys always step up, and you guys have a lot to say. And this is your show. So please, like we always say, don't sit this out. If you feel that little tug in your spirit and you have something to share, you have a global audience to share it with. And it's very important. We really value your participation. So call in at 1-833-288-EWTN. Again, that's 833-288-3986. And when we come back, we're going right to the phones. John is first up here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Morning Glory. It's Catholic from coast to coast.
When you're accustomed to the darkness, the bright light seems harsh. And when you hate the truth sounds hateful. There's an old saying I've heard, that hell is hot, but heaven is hotter. The blazing place of God's love. And you got to get used to the temperature of glory, and you got to be used to the brightness of glory.
Morning Glory, talking about everything important to today's Catholic. Tomorrow morning, 7 Eastern, on EWTN Radio.
Father Benedict Rochelle.
I'm going to tell you about the most abused woman I ever met in my life. You know her name as Roe, as in Roe versus Wade. I talked to Roe. This woman is a great penitent. This woman is a humble person who was deeply hurt. She was kneeling in the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception, the National Shrine in Washington, when I met her. And I thought, what reverence. I didn't know who this woman was, but she was praying with reverence, with great fervor. And I asked a priest friend of mine, who is that? And he says, oh, that's Roe. God is not mocked. This woman was abused by those who propagate the killing of children.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
Great to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. It's Holy Week. Holy Week. I don't know if you get tomorrow or Friday off. Obviously, Catholic ministries and apostolates typically give at least Good Friday off, some Holy Thursday. But if you have the opportunity, please duck into a church tomorrow, especially on Friday, make the services. And if your work schedule or whatever prevents you from doing that, just please go throughout these next couple days with the disposition of heart that you really want to be with Christ in his suffering, his passion, his death, and resurrection. I want to mention the Sunrise Morning Show, too. Tomorrow morning, get this, I mentioned Holy Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. The gang on the Sunrise Morning Show are going to have literally a kind of a who's who of Catholic speakers. Their guests on their Holy Thursday special will be Dr. John Bergsma, Dr. Marcelino D'Ambrosio, Father Hezekiah Carnazzo, I hope I said that right, Liz Lev, and Dr. Scott Hahn. Debbie, that should be a powerful show.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Wow. Jam-packed with a lot of stuff that we need to learn. So that's going to be awesome with those wonderful guests. Jerry, you just got, I believe you got a text that came in you want to share.
Yeah, we're going to get to your calls here in just a second. I mentioned the Rekindle the Fire guys in the Diocese of Fort Wayne, South Bend. And several years ago, actually, I signed up. I signed up to have them send me automatic texts every morning. And this morning's, this is so coincidental, but with God, there are no coincidences, Debbie. Mm-hmm. And they're always to encourage the man. And this one says, and it's a quote from Jesus, "I know where I came from and I know where I'm going." End of quote. And then it says, "Do you? Baptized, loved, and headed to the Father's house, live it." Live it.
Wow. And isn't that perfect for tomorrow's show? Can you make sure you share that again for tomorrow's show?
Sure, absolutely.
We titled it "Return to Sender." Very
right,
interesting.
Exactly.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Talk about no accidents. Okay. Again, I'm getting some text messages. We are getting your messages about prayers. I'm putting them in very, very quickly. I put Cecilia and her family in. I'm putting everybody else in as well. So please know that. And good Lord knows, because you are expressing your requests and your intentions, and we're hearing them. And we just so thank you that you allow us to pray with you. So that's beautiful. We do have an open phone line, and you know what that means? That means it has your name on it. So call in right now. Don't hesitate. You probably have the cell phone right in your hand. All you got to do is dial 833-288-3986, and you'll speak to Michael McCall. He's wonderful to talk to. And you'll listen live and then jump right into the discussion. Okay?
Okay, we're gonna start with John, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network in Kerrville, Texas. Hi, John. Thanks for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Good morning. Thank you very much for hosting the show. I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, thank you. So fire away,
what
John.
What I was calling about was about men's ministries and our parish of Notre Dame in the Diocese of San Antonio has really stepped up and opened up a lot of additional ministries. We've had Acts for many years. We have an upcoming Acts retreat. We're hosting 40 new men at an Acts retreat May 9th through 12th. We're up almost at the end of our that many youth sessions in the morning at 6:30 in the morning. These are very powerful sessions. We're on our first year of this. 26 sessions in the morning where men can watch a video discussing many problems, current problems, but relating it to biblical passages, asking Mary for prayers, showing our love for Jesus, recognizing Jesus in every person that we encounter during the day. This is an especially powerful program for young men with families, and all of us older guys, we wish we'd have taken this when we were in our 30s. We would have made a lot less mistakes in life.
Right. Tell me about it.
that and Knights of Columbus, where do a lot of volunteer activities. Very active group of men here at Notre Dame, and very powerful when we get together and pray together. And especially, we love the young guys who are involved. And we got a lot of young guys involved, so we feel very blessed to parish.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, and John, for our listeners, when you mentioned the Acts retreat, because I love Acts, I think you guys with the retreats do a wonderful job. It's based on sharing and testimonials. And just for our listeners' sake, the acronym Acts stands for Adoration, Community, Theology, and Service. Did I get that correct, John? And it's a weekend retreat where it's just a wonderful experience where I guess women go separately and men go separately, but it's a wonderful experience where they learn from one another. Correct, John?
That's correct. You hear testimonials of men who've gone through many different issues, whether they were beaten as children, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, how they've gotten through it, what they're doing to get through it. And then at the tables, we talk about our current situation, what health issues or whatever everything we're going through. And it's very powerful to have brothers who can get together and support each other, not only during the retreat, but also after the retreat. We remain brothers. We have prayer lines or emails and monthly meetings. So it's a very powerful experience, especially for those who have been away from the church and have wanted to come back. This is a good way to do it. You're very welcome back, and it's actually it's all Christians, not just Catholics that are in our area, but all Christians. And we've had some RCIA converts through this program, but that's not what the main focus is trying to heal ourselves, heal the wounds in our heart. Jesus can help us do that, and these retreats show you how to do it. The 4 acronyms are very important. Adoration, obviously, community together, providing service for others, seeing Jesus as other people as you walk around every day.
Yeah. John, thanks for calling in and sharing about Acts, but also just about all the other things that you're involved in, the Knights of Columbus and just so many other outreaches. And for guys who are listening, I'm glad you mentioned, if you've been away from the church or just haven't gotten involved in anything, feel free to just jump in. And I know, John, you would agree with this. You don't have to become as busy as John is, okay? Take the first step, just go to an Acts retreat. Look on your parish's website or your diocese, talk to some of the men in the parish. They know. They've been there. They've been through this stuff, and they'll literally take you, arm in arm as brothers in Christ, and help you really get to where Jesus wants you to be. What do you think, Deb?
I totally agree. And John, it sounds like you have a very vibrant parish and vibrant community, and that is wonderful. So more power to you. I just hope more and more people jump in and lean into their faith because it's very important. I've often said this. If you listen to the show on a regular basis, John, I say this quite often, that Satan wants us to feel like we're alone in this world on our own little island. Nobody understands us. Nobody can heal us. Nobody can help us. And that's just not true. We are made for community, and we are made to help one another. And as the body of Christ, it really looks like you guys are doing that at your parish community. So God bless you. More blessings for you guys. Please let your parish know that.
Yeah, and John, before you go, I'm just curious. You mentioned Notre Dame as your parish, and I'm wondering, obviously it's not close to home in terms of geography, but when the Paris, Cathedral of Notre Dame had the fire, and it's such a big news story right now, was your parish, at least in your hearts, impacted in a particular way?
Well, I think we are. I mean, I think all Catholics are, no matter what the name of their parish is. It's a tragedy that happened, and our prayers go out to the people of France and that beautiful structure. It looks like they've already had a lot of people rally around it and they'll rebuild it, but it probably won't be the same. But our hearts go out to it. And we are praying, yes. Every time we get together, we say prayer intentions for the current issues of the day. Anyway, it was nice talking to you. Thank you very much for taking my call.
You're welcome, John. Bless you.
Thank you, John. Thank you for starting off our conversation in such a beautiful way. And God bless you for the rest of this Holy Week and as we enter into the Triduum, which is my favorite part and time of the liturgical year. God bless you, John. Okay, Reg is up next in Dallas, Texas, also on Guadalupe Radio Network. I hope I got your first name right. Is it Reg?
It is indeed. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So go for it, Reg.
I just want to reiterate a lot of what John had to say. Excuse me, I'm a bit out of breath. I'm actually loading up equipment.
Reg, we got a bad connection on your phone. I don't know if you can move a couple feet in one direction or another, but we want to be sure that we hear your real important take on this topic. So give it another try.
Okay. Well, I'm in the echo chamber. Practically, let me step out real quick. But I want to reiterate what John had to say. Better?
A little bit better, yeah. I'm so sorry, but yeah, you're cutting out quite a bit. So,
okay, hang on just a second to get off.
Okay.
All right, tell you what. Why don't let's put Reg on hold while he gets to a better place for his cell phone. Michael, thank you for doing that. And what do you say, Debbie? We go to Christy, also Guadalupe Radio Network listener in San Antonio. Reg, hang on, don't go anywhere, brother. We want to hear from you. Christy, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I think I'm doing pretty well, Debbie.
I'm doing great, Christy. How are you?
Good. I was just wanting to talk to you about San Antonio as well. So my husband and I belong to St. Gregory the Great parish, and I will say for the first time in my life that the men's group outnumber the women's group, that I'm very proud of, because usually women tend to, go to these different ministries more so than the men. They have a society. My husband is also an ex, and he's also a knight. And they also have a ministry called Fishers of Men that gather every other Saturday for prayer. And not only do they pray the rosary and, offer prayer, but these men also help the community. They help each other in their home life if anybody needs an extra hand to move a piece of furniture or, any projects. They minister each other not only at church, so they live out their Catholic life throughout, including family life and children, and they support each other. And it really is just amazing to watch these men just be so loving to each other. They're very respectful to each other. They embrace each other with a hug. It's not just, a handshake. It's a hug. They call each other brother. And it is such a wonderful thing to see that these men truly love each other. They're constantly looking for ways to bring in new members. They're looking for ways to serve the community, to serve, of course, our parish, but not only our parish, just anybody who needs help. So I am very proud of St. Gregory and all of the ministries that these men offer. They barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay.
Lost Christy.
Yeah. So, hold on, Christy. So a couple things I just want to say. Wow, that is incredible. You should be very proud of your parish and community, and to see that all the men are stepping up. What's beautiful about that is that, the young men can look up to these more a little bit older men and see them as role models and heroes for them. So that encourages the young men to step up and be part of ministry. I also just naturally, I would think that this is just a reminder, as you see these men in ministry action, this must remind you of the first Christians, and how tight the brotherhood was when they were spreading the news about Jesus Christ. The other thing that I just want to ask, if hopefully we still have you on the line, Christy, is that how has this impacted your family life and your marriage and the other women that you talk to? Has this changed the dynamic of the family revolving around your parish community? I'm very curious about that. Do we have you still on the line, Christy?
Yes, ma'am. It absolutely has. My husband and I have been married 22 years, and it's like every day we are more in love with each other as we serve God. It has really impacted our children. We do have small children. We didn't have children until later in life. And so our children go to St. Gregory, the school. And so we are able to live our life and show our children that every day you can serve God, and it doesn't have to be, a boring way. We're part of the Guadalupanos together as a family. So he's got his men ministries. I have my women ministries. But together we can do the ministry of the Guadalupanos because it is a husband, wife, a family. The kids come with us to meetings. They are a part of it. My oldest daughter is an altar server. And so we learn how to serve others by serving God and serving God by serving others. So it has definitely made my marriage stronger. It has definitely made our children to open their eyes to know that life doesn't revolve around them. We are constantly trying to help others, serve others, clean the church, clean the grounds. So it enables us or allows us to live out our ministries every day. It's not just on Sundays. It's not just a meeting. It's every day. We're doing activities. We plan our life according to our activities at church, and it has been wonderful.
Wow, Christy, that's the way it's intended to be for all marriages, and we know that we're all human and we make mistakes and we get weak and we kind of waffle on our faith and things like that. But this is so beautiful. Debbie and I could listen to you describe your marriage and how you're involved in things for a very, very long time. And I just want to say to any men who are listening right now, a lot of times for the past several decades, I think a lot of people in the church, Debbie and Christy, have looked at, Mass and the church and religion and all that's for the women, and then the guys were the hardworking breadwinners and all of that. But there's nothing more manly, nothing more masculine than uniting yourself to Jesus Christ on the cross, laying down your life. Ephesians 5, I think, is where it talks about that. So, Christy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christy.
Reg, you're going to get a triple patience award when you come back. What do you think, Debbie? Do we have one of those? Do we have one on the shelf?
We do now.
Okay.
This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we'll be right back.
Mother Angelica.
We have to get back into our hearts and minds the value of life. If you don't care about the unborn, I don't think you're going to care about the elderly.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Jumpstart your faith. Now coming to a parish conference or retreat near you, world-renowned Catholic radio host Jerry Usher.
It's not enough to stop doing whatever it is that's keeping you from union with God. For most of us, there are serious issues that need to be addressed first in order to be able to embrace that life of virtue. All those things we're all called to, but which every one of us struggles to achieve.
Invite Jerry Usher today. Contact thirdmillenniummedia.com.
It's time for Family Man with Dr. Gregory Popchak.
Did you know there are two kinds of tantrums? The first type, distress tantrums, are the most common in children 4 and under. They aren't the result of children trying to manipulate you as much as your kids being overwhelmed, overstimulated, or frustrated. The best cure for distress tantrums is bringing your child to a quiet place and providing lots of loving attention to help your child calm down and come back online. The second type, manipulative tantrums, occur in children who are old enough to have good self-control but still use drama as a tool. The best way to respond to these tantrums is to calmly place the child in a quiet, safe timeout place until he's calm enough to apologize sincerely, accept your direction, and rehearse the more appropriate alternative with you. How long are they in for? Well, that's up to them. Want more tips to make discipline easier? Check out my book, Parenting with Grace. I'm Dr. Greg Popchak, but you can call me Ben.
To discover more ways faith can enrich your life, visit CatholicCounselors.com.
Coming up tomorrow at More to Life Forever Grateful, we'll kick off the Trudeau praising God for his blessings. Tune in to More to Life, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on EWTN Radio.
Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
All right, here we are, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Wednesday of Holy Week. I want to thank the affiliates for carrying the program, and we know we're on more affiliates than just Guadalupe Radio, where Reg is also listening to the program. Wherever you are, our topic today, we want the men to call in, and women, if you want to call about your husband or a man as you've seen him come alive in his faith and really thrive because of his Catholicism. That's what we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christy did. We want to know, men, we want to hear from you. How does just being Catholic, how does that simply make your life better, your marriage better, your family, make you a better employer or employee, help you be, honest and in all of your dealings, and let people merge in front of you on the freeway.
Yeah, really.
Whatever.
Makes you a better driver.
Yeah. Any way that it helps your life, we want to hear about that. 288-3986.
Okay, the recipient of our triple Patience Award goes to Reg in Dallas, Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Reg. Thanks. We're so glad we got you back.
Hello, Debbie. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Reg.
For patience waiting for it. I am ever so glad to be a Catholic.
Reg, you're still breaking up, Reg. I mean, we can't make out what's that?
I said, well, I'm very glad to be a Catholic, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for all that God has done for me. I was born a cradle Catholic, and I fell away from the church.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife Susan and I came back around early mid-90s. My wife converted. We've been married 25 years now. And 18 of them have been convalidated. On our 7th anniversary, we got convalidation in the church. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful thing for both of us. I have been a knight of Columbus for years now. I'm the pro-life chaplain for our council. And I also had our pro-life ministry at St. Michael's in Garland. And also I worked very closely with the Catholic pro-life community here with the diocese. In fact, right now I'm putting up stuff for our Good Friday vigil that's going to be at an abortion center on Good Friday. And I'm with the Knights of Columbus. Acts is a wonderful thing for our parish. In fact, I'm on the Acts team this year. And it has just brought so many men together. We've served as brothers now. I've been doing this for like 5 years, and it just helps us learn how to be better servants to God and servants towards each other in our community.
Right. Well, Reg, couple things. And like Jerry was saying, you were breaking up a bit, but I think I got the most of your story, and it's a beautiful story. So correct me if anything I say is not spot on. But you and Susan, you know what I loved what you said is about you said you're a cradle Catholic and you kind of went away, but now you and Susan, you're back, and now you're. See, what's beautiful about that is, first of all, I want to say welcome home again. Okay. But here's the thing I want to share. You just demonstrated by your life story for you and Susan that your life is flourishing in ministry. Okay, you're journeying together with brothers and sisters in Christ, and that's what it was intended to be like. Okay, we were supposed to be on this journey together and growing in holiness and on a path back to our Creator. And Reg, you're doing that, and I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy you're involved in everything you're involved in ministry, the Knights of Columbus, and everything else, because yes, you will feel those blessings here on earth, because that's what ministry does. That's why I caught the ministry bug in 1989, and I've never stopped, because it's an amazing feeling to know that you're on a really good path for your soul. And you and your wife, I just pray for you that continued blessings upon your ministry. I hope I got that right, Reg, but I know Jerry wants to say something.
Well, I can't add a whole lot to what you said. I just was reminded, as Reg and these other men are calling in, I'm reminded of Psalm 133, verse 1. It says, "Behold, how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity." And perhaps that can be, I'm sure it can be widened to include sisters as well. But Reg, it sounds like you're finding not only great blessings in your marriage, but also fraternity among your brothers in Christ. Would that be proper to say? I'm sure it is.
That would be entirely correct. And the most rewarding aspect of ministry that I have through the church is I'm the facilitator for something called Project Joseph here in Dallas, which is for men who are suffering from the pain of an abortion in their past. Mm-hmm. When I was just a kid, 19 years old, I had an abortion. And yeah, I say I had it because abortion is designed to take a child out of your life
Right.
It was removed from my life. I didn't do anything, didn't lift a finger to stop it. And trying to, when I admitted to myself what I had done many years later, I was able to turn to God for forgiveness. And now I'm sharing that forgiveness that God has given me with men who suffer the same way. Project Joseph. In fact, I called in to you guys about Project Joseph a while back.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Debbie, this is such an important thing. I think for I mentioned, you might have heard, Reg, I saw the movie Unplanned yesterday, and Debbie and her husband have seen it twice. And Debbie, often the men who are somehow associated with an abortion aren't focused in on or don't have support. Project Joseph is one of those things because, let's face it, abortion does not just impact the life of a woman, of course, the baby, but it could be the boyfriend, the husband, the father, whatever man is involved. So I'm glad Reg pointed that out because men need to know there is help, there is healing if they have been a participant in an abortion. I think it's a great call.
Yeah, Reg, thank you so much. Continued, like we said, continued blessings in your ministry work. And thank you for calling us again. And we hope you enjoyed that virtual award. So don't be a stranger. Please keep us posted on your ministry work. And we love to journey with you. This is exciting. Like with Christy and with John, it's amazing. We're learning so much, Jerry. There's a lot of good ministry work happening around the country.
There sure is. We are going to get to Ray in Colorado, our next caller, in just a moment. I want to give the phone number out again. It's 833-288-3986. And we're asking men to call in today, just like we asked the women to call in yesterday. And just tell us about how your life is made better, maybe more full, maybe more complete, makes you a better man because you're Catholic. 833-288-3986. A lot of great calls already, and I know we're going to get some more.
And don't let me forget to read Bryce's email. I want to read Bryce's email, but let's go to Ray in Colorado on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Ray. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Yeah, well, you're talking about men in Catholicism, and one way to bring men back to Catholicism and make Catholicism stronger is to bring men in. And one of the ways to do it is to stop the feminization of the liturgy, the sacrifice of the Mass, right? Mm-hmm. And how that plays out is you have to eliminate girl altar servers. I mean, it makes girls and women feel good, but men don't follow women. Women follow men. And if that's the place where young men and boys look at the sanctuary sacrifice of the Mass, their first step into participating, they're not going to want to do a girl thing. And then they'll leave. And plus, the feminization of the church in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the destructions of altars and windows was a form of extreme feminism because all those artworks were destroyed. They were created by men because women didn't create those things.
Yeah.
So one of the ways to do this is you have to make it more masculine, the liturgy and the sacrifice, because then that brings in what we see in homosexual priests too. And men have moral convictions too, that all the pieces have to be there. But that's just one small way. You're going to relegate your men to, cooking barbecues. Well, no young man wants to do that. That's, hey, look at the girlies on the altar. But you have to start somewhere. And that's not the one thing that's going to flip everything. Right. But like Bishop Barron says, the good, the true, and the beautiful. We're talking about Notre Dame. The beautiful brings people to God, to the church. And you know what? You don't have to have a beautiful church. You can have it in a steel building. But if you want to meet your objective, then you have to have all those pieces. And the masculine liturgy is what is beautiful. The Crusades in medieval Europe women weren't protected by other women on horses and shields. It was men.
Ray, let me jump in here for a minute. You mentioned a number of different issues, and we can hear your passion, and Debbie and I are both people of passion, and so I can speak for Debbie, I think, when I say we appreciate your heart, your enthusiasm, and your love for the faith, and especially the liturgy. And, I would not entirely disagree with your assessment of many things there. I've seen from personal experience, and I know the church has made determinations on this, and it's up to each diocese to determine if they have girls serving on the altar. My diocese does, and I'm fine with that. If the church, if it's okay with the church, it's okay with me. But I hear what you're saying. Doesn't mean that it's going to be. I have actually seen with my own eyes how you're right. The boys A lot of times, not in every situation, sometimes the boys, they have seen it as a boy thing for all these years, Debbie, and then all of a sudden, there are girls there, and the guys kind of say, well, I don't want to do it anymore, So I don't know. It's a call the church has made, and it's up to each diocese. So, I don't know. What's your experience? What are you seeing, Debbie, on that?
Well, Ray, I appreciate your passion on this subject as well, but just I want you just to look at this from another perspective too, because I do agree with you that we need to have boys turn into very strong men, and I get that, and so we have to have the surroundings to support that, not to overly feminize the whole situation. However, let me just say a couple quick things real fast, Ray. I was in religious education for over 25 years. And if it wasn't for the women stepping up and being catechists, we would not have had a religious education program, because the men did not want to teach the faith. They didn't know the faith. And they really abdicated their role as leaders in the church. And so the women picked up that void there and took it and ran with the torch. And thank God they did, because our children were formed in the faith very well, I might add. The women were very strong on that. Now, I'm not a feminist of that nature, but I'm just saying, you have to look at it from all different angles. The other thing too, Ray, is that it begins in the home, Ray. The parents are the primary catechists. It begins in the home. And I got news for you. A lot of homes are really dysfunctional and not connected and not understanding what it means for boys to be boys and girls to be girls. Just look at these gender neutral baby clothes that are out there. I mean, there's a lot of problems. It begins in the home. But I would say that, I've been to parishes where there's girl altar servers and boys, and it's flourishing. Vocations are coming out of that parish, and things are happening. I think it has a lot to do with the family dynamics, Ray. And I'm not disagreeing with you on the liturgy and everything like that, but I'm just saying that you just have to look at it from all the different angles and know that we have to attack this problem starting right in the domestic church, the home. That's all I'm saying. So I just hope you can maybe entertain that perspective as well. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah, thank you, Ray, for the call. Appreciate it. We get tons of calls and a lot of email we want to get to. But Debbie, you articulated that, I think, very, very beautifully. And I was stumbling a little bit because I've seen it both ways, and it works in some cases and it doesn't in other cases. But I think you're right. This is a problem that has roots that are much deeper maybe than we're looking at right now. And I think when we talk about, the liturgy, it simply has, first thing we should focus on is reverent liturgy.
Reverent liturgy, yeah,
reverent, holy, godly liturgy done the way the church intends it to be done. And it's not anybody's, place to be anything other than just, worshiping God on everybody's part. So
right.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, but Ray, keep that passion. I love it.
Yeah.
That fire in your belly, that's awesome. Jerry, I know we've got calls, but I have to share Bryce's email.
Please,
Can I share
please.
Bryce's?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Bryce wrote in real quickly and said, hello, Take Two. Let me just make sure it is Bryce. Yes, I got Bryce's email. Hello, Take Two family. I'm a Catholic father of 11. My oldest is 14. My youngest is 3 weeks old. I have been married to my wife for 15 years now. It's been the best 15 years of my life. That's going to make me cry. Bryce, that is a beautiful email.
I can jump in anytime if you need me to.
I know. That is so beautiful.
It's amazing.
It is. She brought me back to confession when we see this is okay. A woman bringing a man back to confession. Let's take this into perspective here. She brought me back to confession when we were dating. It was our second date. It had been 17 years since I went. We now go monthly, if not bi-monthly, with all our kids. Wow, that must be a long confession line.
I was going to say, they set up their own 2-hour-long appointment with the priest.
Exactly. I'm a third-degree knight, and thanks to your ministry and my wife and her friends, we will be starting a text prayer line with my fellow Christian men. We will be praying novenas for a specific intention, keeping each other's strong and lifting each other up in prayer. I love that. Our council just had a very successful Easter egg hunt. Next year, we'll be be our 10th consecutive year. It just started with an idea to bring more community to our church. It's so great seeing the families talking and asking questions about the Knights of Columbus and our ministry. I'm also an assistant Cub Master whose pack is chartered by the local Catholic Church. Way to go. You're very active. We try to get out into the community and serve the needs of those around us. Food pantry drives. We are cleaning up a state park this weekend, etc. God empowers me through confession, the Eucharist, prayer, brotherhood, and seeing the reward of just giving back to society. We need to roll up our sleeves and pitch in. We shouldn't turn and run away. We as men need to lead the way. I am not too preachy, yet all my coworkers and families in the pack know my faith is strong. God bless Bryce. And Ray, if you're listening, this is my point exactly. You look at Bryce's email. He's saying, men, we have to lead, but we have to do it, the right way, starting in our homes and then branching out into the community. So beautiful, Bryce. Thank you so very, very much.
Okay, we'll get back to your phone calls here in just one moment. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And I want to just mention to you that EWTN Radio has a new Twitter handle or a Twitter name, whatever you call it. I think it's a handle, account name. It's at EWTN Radio. At EWTN Radio is where you will find that. And that is just great news, Debbie, for people who want to be involved with EWTN via their own Twitter account.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, let's move to Mark in Winchester, Virginia on Christendom College Radio. Hi, Mark. I hope I got that right, and welcome to Take Two.
Hi, how are you? Well, thank you for this radio program today.
You're welcome.
Very good. Real quick, we have a great parish out here in Winchester, Sacred Heart of Virginia, and I think you guys know Father Bjorn Lundberg, who is our pastor. Fantastic priest and really energetic and supports so much going on in the parish right now. And a couple things I wanted to touch on. One was just that I've gotten involved with a men's group, and we have a couple men's groups going on in the parish. We meet Saturday mornings at 6:30 in the morning. We're done by 7:45, so we can make the 8:30 Mass if we so choose, and also not so it doesn't interfere with our family lives. But that's been fantastic. We choose a book. Right now we're reading The Friendship of Christ by, I think it's Robert Benson, or I don't know if that's correct, but great book. And so we just discuss that. We spend a little bit of time reading the Sunday Gospel. We talk about that. And it's just been so good for the men to do that. And basically I encourage other men to just start those up, get the blessing from your pastor. Maybe he can also join you at times, and it's been wonderful. And then finally, the last thing I would say is that my wife and I have really discovered that developing friendships with other Catholic couples and Christian couples who their faith is central to their lives has been so critical in our lives. So I think that developing those relationships, we've also started a date night at our parish that nice. Father Lundberg also endorses, and it's fantastic. We just get together, and it's very simple. We focus it oftentimes on a feast day of a saint, and but it's pretty much we cater it, and couples get together who might otherwise not know each other or meet each other, so that they can develop those friendships, and it leads into some greater adult catechesis. And so I just wanted to express that to you guys. It's been such a blessing in my life. And quite honestly, I think it's the women of the parish that do drive most everything, no doubt about it. I think I've heard one time that a priest doesn't have a good devotion to Mary, he's going to be a miserable priest. And I think if husbands don't have good devotion to their wives, they're going to be miserable husbands. So I think that's kind of my take on all that.
I have a question for Mark, but Debbie, you may want to comment on the couples being together and the date night and all of that with you and Marty. I'm sure you found a lot of support from other couples as well.
We do. We actually have a similar support group, Mark, and it's very helpful. You can process things. You can, journey together as couples, and you go through some of the problems and struggles and difficulties, and also you celebrate the joys of being a married sacramental couple. I think it's wonderful, Mark. I encourage other couples to do that as well. Don't stay in your own little bubble. Get out there with other couples that think like you and want to be in ministry, and I think that's wonderful, and it's only going to enhance enhance, like you said, only enhance your marriage. Jerry?
Well, Mark, I wanted to have you speak just for a quick minute or so. You've mentioned so many things that you're involved in, you yourself, you as a couple, and there are a lot of men. Again, this gets back to the time commitment thing. A lot of guys use the excuse, and it's a legitimate excuse in some cases. They don't have the time to be involved in these things. But all the things you mentioned, Mark, it's gotten me. I got tired listening to all of them because it sounds like you're so involved, but. No, I didn't get tired of listening to it. Is what I should clarify that. But you're involved in so many things. How does that impact your working hours? Your family time, wife, kids, things like that? Because sometimes, like I say, a lot of men don't think they have time for things like that.
Well, it's difficult juggling those things. But I think if you and every individual has their own lives and their own difficulties. But I think as long as the focus is putting Christ in the center, you can figure all that other stuff out. I mean, it clearly is disruptive to our life, no doubt. I mean, it would be easier not doing these things, but I also think it would make our lives more difficult too, because you, like Debbie said, you miss out on the joy, you miss out on the beauty of our faith. So, and I really crave that. I just crave being around other Catholics, other Christians who love their faith. I think my wife and I. It enhances our relationship. I mean, we struggle like any other relationships, any other married couples, but I think it's these things that make it all worthwhile and keep us refocused and regrounded and recommitted, and so that's a wonderful thing. One other thing that we do, and I also encourage people to do, we started this about probably 10 years ago. It's called a prayer and pasta, and what we do is we found I think 5 other families, and we have 8 kids ourselves, so we have a pretty big family. And we get together on one Sunday a month. We start by saying a rosary together, and then we just eat together. We have, it's a potluck, people, and it's been incredibly joyful to our family, to our children, to get around other like-minded families, and it's easy, simple, and fun. And I think keeping it fun and lively is a blessing as well.
Well, it's very similar to how Jesus dined with the disciples. That's what it's. Food brings people together. When we're eating and we're sharing a meal together, the fellowship just blossoms. And I love that. The only problem I have with your situation is how come I wasn't invited to it, Mark? You know that I'm Italian.
You are always invited. My wife is Lebanese, so I think that was one of the reasons I fell in love with her, is that her family was always eating or talking about eating. So.
That's right. Exactly, Mark. There's nothing else.
Wow. Well, there you go, Debbie. You and Marty have something now you can start up in your parish or in your local neighborhood there. Prayer and pasta.
I love it. I'm just going to fly to Virginia and attend theirs. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
We stole that from a Catholic magazine, by the way.
You stole the name, you said?
Prayer and pasta. We stole that, I think, from a Catholic magazine that my wife read about. Some Catholic magazine suggested
okay.
that.
You didn't steal it, Mark. You just borrowed it. There you go. I love it. God bless you, Mark. Have a beautiful, as you enter into the Triduum, just blessings to you and your beautiful family.
We got about a minute till that closing music. I wish we could get to more of the calls. We got Tracy and Anthony and the others. Please call us on an unscripted show. And I know we have one coming up the final Friday of this month. Is that right, Deb?
Right.
We do it on the last Friday?
Yes. And folks, can I just say something real quickly if we have this minute? I mean, I appreciate, I'm already getting text messages and everything saying thanks for standing up for people who are in ministry and everything. Listen, I'm not like this. Jerry, you can attest to this. I'm not this uber feminist. I do agree how things have to work in the church and men be leaders and everything. I'm just saying let's look at this from an organic sense and in our homes and the domestic church, and let's start it there. And I hope I didn't ruffle any feathers or make anybody think that I was on some crusade, because I'm not. I just wanted to state that.
Yeah, no problem, Deb. I'm sure that wasn't taken that way. But I want to close here with an email from Yvonne, because she was asking for prayers, and she emailed about the topic today. 10 years ago, my husband lost his fantastic job. We used to make a 6-figure income. Now my husband works minimum wage jobs. Thank God for these jobs. He is having an interview in 1 hour. Could you pray for him to do well at his interview and find a better job real soon? So let's pray for Yvonne's husband, that God's will be done in his life and that God provides abundantly for them. Thanks, Yvonne, for letting us pray for that.
Yes, and everybody else that's emailed us, we're reading your emails and we will respond as soon as we can. We love you guys. You guys we're in this together, and that's the beauty of Take Two Family. So you can always email us, take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. And we heard from our friend Tammy, Jerry, and she just wanted to send her love to the Take Two family. So tomorrow's return to sender. We're created for God. We're going back to God. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day.
This is the home of Cresta in the Afternoon, Father Larry Richards, Morning Glory, Marcus Grodi, and Mother Angelica.